The relationship between the media and government. A glance at Donald Trump and John F. Kennedy. For the longest time, the media and the government have always had a relationship that is dynamic. It is always changing. One day, the press can be aligned with the government on a domestic issue. Then the next day, the media can be tearing the government to shreds for some foreign policy or decision made that may put the country in a worse position than it already is. That is problematic because it is not single-handedly because of one or the other, but a more collaborative approach by the two. When the media reports good things about the government, when they give their support, it is good for the government because people read it and see it. On the other hand, when the government messes up or does something a bit suspect, guess who reports it more than the positive reporting? The same media that seemed to give their government support 24 hours before. Personally, I would love if the media and press were what it's supposed to be. Reporting facts and information in an unbiased manner, not trying to sway anyone's opinion. We'll get back to that, but let's look at a shrunk-down relationship at two presidents versus the media. First, John F. Kennedy and his speech after the Bay of Pigs incident. In this speech, Kennedy speaks of how an Athenian lawmaker said it was a crime for citizens to shy away from controversy. He says that's an example as to why our press is protected by the First Amendment. He acknowledges their protections and understands how they're important on a national level. He also wants the citizens of the United States to know what's going on. In his speech, as he so perfectly states, he wanted to inform them, arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and opportunities, to indicate our crisis and choices, to lead, mold, educate, and even sometimes anger public opinion. He also stressed the importance of national security, knowing that it is crucial and them and the media can coexist. It's not a stretch to say that Kennedy improved his relationship as opposed to weakening it. Although that was a brief look, that's enough to look up against the next president we'll be examining, our current president, Donald Trump. Although with him, it feels like it is him actually versus the media. Donald Trump has spoke of some news outlets as the enemy of the American people. Instead of Kennedy working with the press or at least trying to reason with them and see eye to eye, Trump tries to fire back at them, criticize them, keep them at arm's length, and manipulate the opinions and words that are sent out by the press to the American people. Moving on from those two examples, there's some theories I have here. Walter Lippmann's theories of the hypodermic theory. The name makes sense because it's described as information being shot into people's head like a hypodermic needle, readily and accepted by them. Also, the next theory is the minimal effects theory, which states that the media has little effect on people in the United States because the word of mouth and conversation, the more people talk to each other, the more they ignore opposite views, and the more they think of a less real world. The third theory, the cultivation theory, says that a person looks at the world around them and is developed by the perceived reality the media creates and shows them daily. It's easy to see these theories in action today. Lippmann's hypodermic theory is exhibited by misinformation and fake news that we so readily get at the tips of our fingers from technology, and it may not be accurate. The minimal effects theory can be observed today. If one media outlet reports something completely accurate, and then if the President of the United States claims it's wrong or false, people who listen to the President will believe the wrong or false information. Lastly, the cultivation theory. We can all ignore so much of what we don't want, and then receive so much of what we want because we can pick and choose what sources to follow, which outlets to listen to and read. The media tries to paint a picture filled with opinions and attempts to sway people's minds. The only problem is now because of the division, there are more than one perceived reality. So while one president in the past viewed the media as something beneficial that could help him connect, inform, and communicate with the American people, the other views it as something he has to defend himself from, justify his actions to, and criticize on a daily basis for attacking him.